Welcome to the Freaky Flyers Bird Show. Alright, that was it. See you guys later. Nah, I'm just kidding. My name is Wally. More importantly, you guys have met some of our beautiful birds already. Flying overhead right now, I think she might be doing one more loop. I'm not quite sure. You saw a blue and yellow macaw. Her name was Quito. She's also one of the slowest flyers ever met. Don't know how she stays in the air, but somehow she managed to do it. Looks like she actually went in for a landing. We saw a bunch of birds during an intro. A bunch of pink birds, right? Not to be mistaken for baby flamingos, they are a completely different species. They are full-grown scarlet ibis. However, they do get their coloration the same way flamingos do, and that's from the food that they eat. And we also had a bird coming out to you guys kind of 3D style, landing on a platform up top. That's a yellow-billed hornbill. His name is Bruiser. He's your insight into hornbill personality, a lot of fun to work with. And I hope that gives you guys a pretty good idea what to expect today. We are a 100% bird show, 100% of the time. So, a couple of notes I want to go over before we get started. If you guys see a bird flying in your direction, you have this instinct or this desire to duck, I would do that, yeah? Pretty easy to follow. Some birds do get very low over the top of your head. So if you can do me a couple favors before we get started, once you find a seat, please stay in your seat for the duration of the show. Arms down, hands on level, and last thing, as long as you all remember anything above your head is bird space only, we are going to have a pretty good show. Now, we are going to get these kicked off at a very large nocturnal bird of prey. For those of you guys thinking owl, you guys know your birds, but we go pretty big here at the safari park. There's not just any owl to show you guys. There's the largest owl species found anywhere in Africa, the second largest species found anywhere in the world. You're probably wondering where to look. He spotted you already. Focus your attention to the top of our NeoVision screen, and you're about to see the chocolate brown eyes of Hinkley. Hinkley is our Barreau eagle owl, who is joining us at about a 5-foot wingspan. Alright, I should point out, there's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there that surround the owl. Probably the biggest one is that a bird manufacturer is wise. We've all heard of the wise old owl. I can tell you guys from personal experience as a bird trainer, that's not true at all. What these guys lack in intelligence, though, they make up for it with an incredible set of senses. During the daytime, it's estimated we can see about 10 times better than we can. At nighttime is when it truly comes alive. It's about 100 times better than we can see. Now their hearing is so good they can hear a mouse up in a twig from like 75 or 80 feet away. But take a look at him, guys. Here at the bird show, we joke he is a watermelon with wings. That's exactly what he flies like. If the Falcon's the Ferrari, that is the school bus of the bird of prey world. Top speeds like 30 to 35. Doesn't need to be quick though, because he can sneak up onto his prey, or his prey had any idea if they were on the menu. But it looks like he's out of here. Let's give it up for him, guys. That was Hinkley, our Barreau eagle owl. Now, what's most impressive about an owl that size, believe it or not, he can take down between 2,000 and 3,000 mice in a single year, all by himself. Now, that sounds like a lot. But get this, if you take 2 mice, rats, doesn't really matter, you put them in an empty field with no predators and give them all the food and water that they want and come back a year later, you're looking at over 1 million mice. Yeah, they reproduce really quickly, so birds of prey are great to have around, snakes are great to have around to help with those pest populations out there. Alright, this next bird coming out just happens to be one of my favorite bird species found anywhere in the world. Now we just met a nocturnal bird of prey, now we're going to meet a diurnal or daytime bird of prey. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing with this post, he's going to get a little bit closer to you. So just one of those rules that we went over when we got started, and some of you guys are going to get marching the feathers when he makes his way out here. This bird is called a parasol. You guys can meet Winslow this afternoon. He lives tucked back over there somewhere. I never know which way he's coming in, so keep your eyes peeled that direction. And whenever he feels like joining us, he will. I hate to be a rabbit not paying attention, that's for sure. So he's going to come in over there whenever he's ready. Now the reason I like these birds so much is because they are social. And as far as we know, there's only 2 social raptors. Here he is, right with you. 2 social raptors found anywhere in the world, Harris hawks and the Galapagos hawks. Now, these birds are really easy to identify in flight. 2 white stripes on their tail, 1 at the base and 1 at the tip. You're looking at that, you're looking at a Harris hawk. Now, these birds originated further south into Central and South America. But because of introduced waterways throughout the years, you can find them in parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Canada, Baja California, and even parts of Nevada nowadays, where they were found several years ago. Now, if you guys have ever been in the Sonoran region, cactus is everywhere. So these birds that learn that hunting together makes them a lot more successful than if they were hunting by themselves. Now, Winslow only weighs about 1 pound or 1.5 pounds, but if he catches it just right, he can actually take down a 13-pound jackrabbit all by himself. Looks like he's out here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Winslow. I'm Neil Harris. Another fun fact about those birds, they're actually nicknamed the wolves of the sky. They do hunt together and live together in family groups, about 5 to 7 birds. And it's usually the juvenile birds that are flushing out prey, where the adult, more experienced ones are waiting to ambush. Now, since they all took part in hunting that food, they will share it with everybody in the family, and if it's not big enough to feed everyone, they go hunting again. That is very weird. Most birds do not do that. They are definitely solitary animals. All right, anyway, enough about that. We are going to get some help from some adult-sized volunteers for this next bird. I'm looking for the birthday age, 12 years old and older. You do have to raise your own hand. We get a lot of people raising their friend's hand, and that's not going to cut it. You two right up there are coming down with me, and we'll pick you over there, black shirt. I'll say you first. You right there. Yep, you in the jacket. How many? Can I count? That's 4, 5. All right, you right there with the sunglasses. All right, you guys can make your way up on stage. Lindsay is going to boss you guys around for a little while. And I'm going to tell the rest of you about a really cool group of birds called the hornbills. Now, there are 54 species of hornbill that can be found around the world. And the really cool thing about these birds, one, all these guys are found in Africa or Asia. But the coolest thing is that they range in size. Some of the bigger ones came up the size of a medium-sized dog. They have like a 12-inch bill on the front of their face that they use to smash and kill and destroy things in the wild. We're not meeting one of those. We're meeting a slightly smaller species. Now, how many of you guys have seen the movie Lion King? All right, every hand better go up. If not, you guys got homework to do. Awesome, awesome movie. If you guys remember Zazu, who helps out Mufasa, he's what's called a red-billed hornbill. We're going to be a very close cousin to that, called the yellow-billed hornbill. You guys actually already saw one today. You guys saw Bruce, which I pointed out early. We're going to meet his little sister. Now, these guys are great at flying, but they're better known for hopping into their forest home. So we don't have a forest out here, but we got a bunch of awesome people. So if you can stick your arms out straight in front of you, just like this, perfect. You guys look great. Stay where you are. Everybody else check out that direction, because here comes Trouble. She's no trouble at all. That's just her name. Trouble and Bruiser. Again, inside the hornbill personality. A lot of fun to look at. Easy to see how she gets her name. Giant banana coming off the front of her face. That's a tall one to start with. There we go. And she's quick today. All the way down to me. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Trouble. Right, the hornbill hornbill. Gonna feed up, finish up some of my favorite treats, some pellets, some crickets, some yams. Throw it on the floor. Don't worry, I'll pick that up later. All right, all the way back down to you guys. Boing, boing, boing. Very nicely done. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Trouble, our yellow-billed hornbill. All right, before you guys leave, a couple of favors. First, by the way, this is Amanda in the tie-dye shirt. It is her birthday today. So from everybody here at the Freaking Flowers show, we'd like to say happy birthday to you. Thanks for joining us today. All right, one more favor. One arm out this time. Fold across your belly. We're all doing it. Everybody, fold across your belly. Yep, even down near the end. There we go. And take a bow. Very nice. You guys can go join your friends and family. Nice big round of applause for the birthday girl, as well as everybody joining us here on stage. All right, what's that? Oh, we had another happy birthday. Nora, happy birthday. I usually try to pick up the pens, but sometimes I miss it. So happy birthday. Thanks for joining us at the park today. Hope you guys have a great day. All right, now it's time to talk about mimicking capabilities with some of our birds that aren't really well known for their fancy coloration or their fancy flying, but the words that they're able to pick up. Now, these birds do this to call to potential listeners out there in the wild, but when you live here at a bird show, you can imagine what some of those sounds are instead. Now, we can make noises with these guys all day. If they choose not to pick them up, it's usually what they like to do best, and we can usually get them the cue to kind of help them come out here and do what they find fun. But before these two get started, they need a nice big welcome. Give it up for Alyssa and Congo, our African gray pair.
Hey everybody, hello. How are you guys all doing today? Oh, good. Congo, we got a good little crowd today. Why don't you be very polite and say hello to everybody? He's a nice guy. He's got to say hi before we get started. My name is Alyssa, and this little guy here, his name is Congo. He's an African gray parrot, and like Wally there was saying, these guys are very well known for imitating sounds that they hear in their environment. And Congo here, he's no different. The sounds that he hears, though, they are a little bit strange and unusual because Congo here lives next door to the office backstage. Yeah, so as you can imagine, he hears lots of office sounds all day long, right? Things like our telephone. Yeah, that is the sound of our landline backstage. There are trainers running to answer the phone. That never rang. Yeah, all day long. Yes. And Congo here, he usually agrees with you guys. He thinks it's funny. Yeah, he laughs at us every time. But our phone back there, it is a really old phone. It's like 20 years old. Modern times now, right? And Congo here, he's just like all of us. He carries around his very own self. You get to find volume control on the cell phone. Sorry guys, that's a loud one. We also have a water cooler back there that he lives next to, and all day long, it makes the sound of bubbles. Yeah, they're just little bubbles. Oh, buddy, do you hear that? They think you're cute. Oh, yeah, he knows it too, guys. Let me tell you. Okay, we're having a good time, but we do actually need to take a moment and get serious for a minute. Is that okay? Okay, all right. Now, we always have to double check, right? We always have to make sure he's ready to move on too. I don't know though, he didn't sound like he was very serious about that. I think we need to check again. Taco, really?
Okay.
There we go. That's much better, much more serious sounding, right? Now I know he's actually ready and we can keep on going. Because we do have a serious topic that I do want to make sure we talk about today. Conservation, because it's such a big part of what we do here at the park, right? And Congo here, he knows that all of you guys, when it comes to conservation, you've all really taken charge. Yeah. He knows you're not just helping us, of course, here at the park, but every time you come and visit us, you guys are actually helping us support our conservation programs all over the world. That makes Congo here really excited. He's pretty excited about those things. You know, if you are not just helping us, of course, with all those big, well-known, popular animals like elephants or rhinos or tigers, even turkeys. Wow, we can't forget about those guys. They're important too, right? All of those little animals as well, though. Something most people probably don't really think about could actually be something that is critical to our environment, though. Something like a teeny tiny frog. Which apparently is a fish frog. Okay. I'm not sure what that one was. That's okay. We're going to keep right on going anyway. Because I do want to make sure we touch on something that does actually hit much closer to home for Congo here. See, there are bad guys out there, right? They're called smugglers. And what they will do, they take his wild counterparts out of their natural habitat and they will illegally sell them into the black market pet trade. It's not a good thing, right, that happens with these birds. And not just these little guys here. This does actually happen with parrots all over the world. Now, Congo here, he is familiar with this problem, and I know he has a very strong opinion on the matter that he wants to share with you guys today. So, but everybody out there is looking at you, and they all want to know, what are your feelings on poachers? Oh, yeah. I thought so. Nobody likes poachers, right? It's a profound expression. All right. He does have his very own special way, though, to say thank you to all of you guys for coming out to see us today. Ready, Congo? Why don't you give everybody out there a great big kiss? Great big juicy kiss. He is a nice little guy. So Wally is back out here, and I know he does have some more really cool birds he is going to share with you guys, and that does mean Congo and I got to get going. So, buddy, before we leave, why don't we very politely tell all of these very nice people goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Here we go, everybody. All right, we're going to stay on the continent of Africa and do a couple hunting demonstrations with a couple of our next birds. Now, this first one that's going to be coming out just happens to be the fastest animal found anywhere in the world. Any guesses out there? He was just yelled out. All right, I heard falcon from a couple of guys. Great. Usually we get cheetah, which you remind yourself you at the bird show, right? You're not entirely wrong. The fastest land animal, about 70 miles per hour, but believe it or not, most birds surpass that speed on a daily basis, including, like I heard a couple of guys say, the falcon. Now, what makes falcons quite unique from other birds that prey out there is these birds choose to almost exclusively hunt other birds, and they do this by knocking their prey right out of the air. Kim's going to be joining us on stage. She's going to be swinging around a leather lure. Now, this leather lure is meant to simulate another bird in flight. Falcons are known to notoriously dive after their prey until they can outmaneuver and knock it right out of the sky. So from our hillside, you guys will meet our adult lantern falcon. Her name is Bakura. right, very nicely done. A little bit windy, so normally, yeah, you guys give it up for her. A little bit windy, we usually do more passes, but we really want to keep our birds safe right here. I do want to talk about this behavior that she's doing as well as looking to the sky for any of the birds of prey that might be around. We do have a lot of turkey vultures, which those guys way up there are some turkey vultures, so not really worried about those. But we have red-tailed, red-shouldered hawks in the area. So she's looking around as well as doing this behavior called mantling. She's covering up her pride she's worked so hard to catch with her wings and her tail to cover it up from any prying other birds of prey out there. You guys already probably figured it out. The stadium is not nearly big enough for a falcon to reach its top potential and speed. These birds are actually usually seen from a couple hundred, maybe even a couple thousand feet in the air. And so those incredible heights, they reach speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour. Now, the fastest animal ever recorded was our very own North American peregrine falcon that was clocked at, get this guys, 242 miles per hour. And rumor has it was slowing down. Birds win all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Victoria, our female falcon. Alright, we are still sticking to the continent of Africa, and we're going to show you a very unusual bird of prey next. Now, most birds of prey are catching their food out of the sky or appearing on top from a large vantage point, but this bird that we're going to show you guys next hunts in just quite a little bit different way. Now, these birds are also quite unique because they just so happen to be the tallest raptor that can be found anywhere in the world. I'm talking about a 4-foot tall bird of prey. You guys can wrap your head around that one. But really, what set these raptors apart from other birds of prey around the world, it's actually how they choose to capture their food. See, raptor means to grasp or to seize. That's how most birds of prey capture food. Secretary birds, entirely different, and we're getting to show that right now. On top of her side, it looks like she's here. This is our adult female secretary bird. Her name is Karani Tamba, showing off a beautiful set of wings right on cue. Capable of flight if she didn't want to take off, but check out those legs. Seriously, that bird's got legs, and she knows how to use them. Nicknamed the Marching Eagle, as they march through the grasslands throughout Africa. But when they find something appetizing to eat out in the wild, as Karani is going to demonstrate for us, they'll run right up to their prey, and they'll quite literally stomp that prey to death. Now, these birds go after insects, small and medium-sized mammals. You're also looking at an excellent reptile hunter as well. With thick scales on their legs, as well as the center two tail feathers long enough to distract their prey, and putting her wings out like a matador to encourage animals to strike at feathers, which of course is completely harmless to the bird, enables secretary birds to even go after venomous snakes as well. Trust me, you do not want to be a snake and run into this bird out in the wild. Here we settled for a rubber snake. We actually got a gift shop for like $3. Yeah, Karani's not allowed in there anymore for obvious reasons. Taking her final bow, ladies and gentlemen, that's Karani Tamba, our female secretary bird. Sometimes she doesn't always know she has to keep the snake. She tries to keep the liners attached to instead. Not the brightest ball in the box, but we love it. Alright, I know you guys are thinking, why does a bird have that name? It's not like it's taking notes out there in Africa. Well, there's a lot of theories behind this. All you really need to know is that today, that bird would much rather be called the administrative assistant bird. I know, it's the only joke I got. Don't worry, we're safe. All joking aside, we couldn't do any of this work we are known for if it wasn't for you guys joining us today. You're definitely our heroes for wildlife. So whether it's your first time at the park or at the zoo, or you guys have been members and donors for many years, we appreciate each and every one of you. So on behalf of myself, everybody here at the Freaking Flyer Show, birds included, we want to say thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we hope you guys have a great rest of the day here at the Safari Park. Bye everybody, take care.